Hello everyone, it's me again. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. You know it's a YouTube channel because it's on YouTube. Hello and welcome if you are new. So nice to have you with us. Please click the subscribe button if you haven't already because it would be so nice to have you join our little family. I say little, it's actually quite big now. Today we're going to be doing a little story time, my friends. Oh yes, a story time. I've had this video requested a fair few times, so I thought I'd grab my fancy beverage and share with you my very first understudy experience. More so the kind of going on for the understudy experience, because I just thought it would be fun to share it with you and it's a fun tale to tell. For any of you that don't know, by the way, I feel like I just never explain myself properly. I'm an actor, been in West End shows, musicals, performing, all that stuff. And I've performed in the shows, in the ensemble, I've played parts, I've also understudied parts. Understudy, I should explain really what it is. I'm sure a lot of you know already, but just a quick summary. An understudy is basically someone that learns another part in the show, say like a lead part. For example, Hamilton in Hamilton, there'll be someone who plays the part, and then there'll be another person, or persons, well, who play other parts in the show but also know that part. So if the actor playing the part is off for any reason, they would play it. So that's what I'm chatting about today. So the very first role that I understudied was in Legally Blonde. Now Legally Blonde was a musical, is a musical, and when I was in it, it was playing at the Savoy Theatre in London. So when I was in that show, I think I was the third cast. So I believe it was going into its third year at the Savoy when I joined. So I had a role in the ensemble. So I played Gabby / stenographer in the ensemble, oh yes. And then I also understudied Margot and Elle. So these are two of the bigger roles in the show. Overall, Legally Blonde was just like the best. It was just amazing. I will do a video more on like the experience as a whole at some point as well. If you'd like to see that, do let me know. So we had like quite a short rehearsal period anyway, where I was learning the role that I'd be doing kind of every night. So there wasn't loads of time to learn the understudy roles. And normally what would happen in a show is you'd learn your part, and then maybe you'd start learning a bit of the understudy stuff before the show opens, but you'd really actually start understudy rehearsals maybe like the week after the show opens. So like the week after your first night, because you probably wouldn't be going on straight away, so you have a bit of time. So to be honest, I was still a bit dubious about my own part when it was opening night. We had so much to learn, so it was kind of like I was just so focused on that role and making sure I knew everything that I had to do, that I would be doing on opening night, that I'd learned all my lines for my understudies, and like there were a fair few, like Elle in particular. There were, I mean, if you've seen the show, she's never off stage. She has so many lines. But I managed to learn all the lines for both of them. And I like knew the songs because, as you will know if you've seen my recent videos, I mentioned it, I was obsessed with Legally Blonde prior to being in it and just knew all the words to all the songs. So that was okay. But yeah, like I said, I had been focusing mainly on my normal track track means like role, that I was doing every night. So we opened, I may be getting this completely wrong, and I apologise because this will now be on film forever. If I do get it wrong, I can't really remember the dates, so please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it was something like this. We opened on like the Saturday. I think I'm probably getting this wrong, but it was a few days anyway. We opened on the Saturday and it was great. It was really fun, amazing. So then I went home for the weekend with my mum and dad. I say weekend loosely because I may be completely wrong with this, but I went home anyway, back to where my family are from. And then I think it got to the Monday and me and my mum decided to go shopping. It was like 11 AM. We went to the local shopping centre and we were having a mooch around. My mum needed to get some shoes, so I was helping her get the shoes. And I wasn't looking at my phone, and I just so happened to like whip my phone out at a random moment and see that I had a voicemail. And I was like, And it was one of those moments where your stomach feels like it's kind of in your mouth. You know, like in films and stuff where like the walls will go back. It was one of those. I had this voicemail basically saying that I was on for one of my understudies that evening. That evening in London, 7:30. Me, not in London, By this point, I believe it was about 12, probably about like 1, around that time anyway. So it's safe to say I may have panicked a little, but you know when like you panic, and then I was like, right, just need to get to London, get to London, get to London. That's all I was thinking. I told my mum, and she had one shoe on and one shoe off, and she literally just went, oh, and just kind of stared at me for like 10 seconds. I was like, okay, mum, we need to go. So I like ran. I say ran. My mum drove me to the train station because they said they would like, the team were going to come in early and help me, which was just so amazing of them. So pegged it to London, which took me about, in total, maybe like 2 hours to get to the theatre. And so then I had to essentially learn. Luckily it was the role with not as many lines, which was good. I mean, if you've seen Legally Blonde, you know Margot, she opens the show, guys. Like, the show starts with a house on stage, and there's just like this epic moment where the ding, 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 amazing music kicks in. These 2 doors open and Margot is there. So to say there was a lot of pressure is true. So yeah, anyway, I went up to London and ended up in rehearsals trying to learn this entire show. It's kind of a bit foggy, like I can't really remember what happened. It like is a blur, but it happened. I had a rehearsal, did like a full-on rehearsal on stage with the dance captain, the resident director, like people like that, and did it as best I can with like them. And then when the cast came in at like 6ish, I ran a few numbers with them as well. And my parents, like, oh my God, were just so amazing. And they actually, after my mum dropped me off at the train station, they drove up to London to come and watch me. Because it was like my first West End show, my first time playing a part. And they were like, we're going to be there. Even if, George, you don't know what you're doing, we're going to be in that audience and we're going to be cheering you on. Which I really appreciated. And I'd had all my costumes fit and everything, but you know, there was still like last minute things that needed to be done. So I'm getting ready. And then suddenly it was time to start. So you have this thing called the 5, which happens. So if the show starts at 1/2 you're called down to stage at 25 just because obviously you can't be called down when the show's going to start because then you miss the start. And I was opening that show, so I had to be there early. So yeah, you get the 5 at 20 past. Say if the show starts at 7:30, get the 5 at 20 past, and then you get called down for beginners at 25 past. Gets to beginners, I don't have one shoe. I can't remember what happened, but I didn't have a shoe that fit. And I remember hopping around backstage. Yeah, I remember it getting to 7:30 and they were like, we've held the curtain, because I was hopping around with one shoe, held the curtain. And at this point that's when I started to panic. So I was like, oh my God, all these people are waiting. I'm letting everyone down. I'm stood here with one shoe. I don't know what to do. That was a little rhyme. But then the shoe came. And I round the shoe on and then had to run up the stairs and the music started. And I've never felt fear like it. In hindsight, it was amazing. But when I was waiting for those windows to open, because also I had props. I had like this massive card, because it's Elle's like engagement card that all the Delta News have signing, and that's like what the whole opening of Legally Blonde is. The opening song's called Oh My God, You Guys, and it's like this amazing, exciting number where they're all just like, woo! And I feel like if anyone came to watch that evening, they would have seen a lot of girls like, woo! And then one blonde girl kind of walking around the stage like, woo! But anyway, so I had all these props, and then I just was like, stood there holding on to these doors, and I was like, I knew my mum and dad were out there, and I was like, okay, well, this is it. I remember thinking to myself, you're just gonna have to see what happens. Boom. And then I was out. And my parents, because they didn't really know what part I was doing, they knew like the part I was playing that night, but they didn't know the show. So they didn't know that I would be the first person to appear on stage. And they also didn't know that I would appear through a window. So they said the show started, and obviously they'd left me at the train station like 4 hours before, just like, ah! And then they were now sat in the Savoy Theatre in London watching this West End show. These doors open and their child appears. And do you know what? It was amazing. There was definitely a lot of like the amazing company kind of pushing me around the stage a little bit. And there's a bit of dog acting, which, as you know, if you've watched the show, can kind of go slightly awry. But I think it actually went okay that night. But yeah, acting with a dog when it's your first night doing a part that you've never done before, that you don't really know that well, was quite an added extra challenge, shall we say. But it was fine in the end. I do remember there being a point where I was going across the front of the stage with a candle, just like, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know, is it this way? Okay. But yeah, in the end, it ended up being incredible. It was such a great feeling once I'd done it. And then after that, I went on so many times and just oh, I just loved playing that part so much. But yeah, that was my story of the first time I went on. I just wanted to share that one with you because Legally Blonde holds such a special place in my heart, and I love just remembering that. And actually, I'm really proud of being able to learn that part that quickly and going on that soon. And I'm really happy that my parents were there, and it was just really fun. And yeah, I'd do it again. But I hope you enjoyed that little snippet from my Legally Blonde days. If you did, feel free to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one. I hope you have a lovely rest of day, and I'll see you again in my next video. Bye!